Tonight we're going to talk about positive thinking. And I want this for public consumption as well, which is why I kept some of the questions for Mac a bit basic, because I think a lot of people, I think they would be interested to hear your particular thoughts on it, you know, as opposed to just that tactical mindset kind of thing. Let's just get into something just more basic, a basic optimistic outlook and that sort of thing. However, if any of you have been listening to Mac for some time, it's particularly this year, he's talked about a couple of things. One has been kids, which we showed the new kids video he did last week. But he talks about curiosity with kids. He talks about kids being interested in things. But he also talks about this very same thing for adults, that, you know, somebody has to be interested to be interesting. And what he's emphasizing with kids is to teach them to observe their world, to get out away from devices, get out from the inside, get their toes in the grass, explore their world, be curious, and all of these things. So you guys have heard Mac talk about that for some time. Of course, I've heard him talk about it extensively myself. But I came across a video clip today of Rob Lowe, 80s actor, and he was answering a question on Howard Stern's show about, you know, what he does to kind of stay Rob Lowe. And Rob Lowe's always known for being this good-looking guy, and, you know, what does he do now to take care of himself and all that. So in answering that question, he gets into a portion about what he considers to be the more important thing, and he sounded like he lifted it precisely from some of the things that Mac has said. So I sent it to Mac today. He thought it was good. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and share that with the squad tonight. So this won't take but a minute. But so here's Rob Lowe answering this question from Howard Stern.
Listen, I've been trying to be the best I can be since I was 8 years old.
But still, you could get caught up in it, because when you walk in the room, you're Rob Lowe and everyone's expecting you to look good. You're not allowed to have an off day.
But it's not just physical. Like, people always say, you know, what does it mean to be youthful and all of that? And, you know, honestly, and I get the sense you know this, it's an inside job. Like, think about what's youthful. Youthful are kids. And what are kids? They're curious. They're enthusiastic, they're active, they're interested,
right?
They're interesting, and they're not checked out.
Right.
As we get older, those are harder and harder and harder for us to do. So if you don't have those qualities, it doesn't make a fucking difference if you got a great looking face and 32-inch waist. No one's going to say you're youthful.
Dude, friggin' right out of my playbook. I'm so glad he did that. He said that, you know? Wow, it was so good.
Yeah.
Spot the fuck on, you know?
Yeah, and it's great to hear from somebody like him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, Stamos wouldn't say that, but...
Right. Yeah, right. Now, also, Rob Lowe's still been real active on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
One of the shows I talk about, Parks and Recreation, he has a big role in there, and he is a freaking riot. You can tell that he's one of those guys that doesn't take himself serious at all.
Yeah.
You know, he's got skin this freaking thick.
Yeah. It's a great perspective for someone like him to have, you know, and to say, this is what matters. But he did drop it in. He said to have a great face and a 32-inch waist. So I guess he has a 32-inch waist.
Right. Yep. Right.
He did drop that in there.
Yep. Maybe he changes. Maybe he's a 33 and he scratches it out.
Like Jerry does. That's the Jerry I know, and let's just leave it at that.
Right. Yeah.
But
it was so good.
Yeah,
so good.
That was.
I
I
hope
loved
he brings
it.
me back. I messaged him on that.
Yeah. It's like you said, inside job, and you know, you want to be somebody who walks in this kind of awareness, which is again why, you know, I liked what my son Joe said, because it represents a departure from the path that most people expect for, you know, someone who's aspiring to something, where he's saying, well, yeah, I mean, at what price are certain things, you know, and what price to my health, to my sanity, to my whatever. So can I just create a life, once I absolve myself of the need to be famous, or then the need to have all of these trophies on the wall, what kind of life can I create that's going to bring contentment? And so you see that in minimalism and other things where people are striving for something else. Because it's amazing that in an age of luxury and ease, that people would be searching for peace and serenity.
Right.
So it's too noisy out there, too confusing. The moral and social intellectual footing that everyone is standing on is not that solid. So it's easy to be disrupted. All right. So, but in light of that, talking about the power of positive thinking. So, Patrick McNamara, question number one.
Question number one.
How do you define positive thinking? How has it played a role in your life and career?
So define it. So the ability to focus on the goods versus the bads in a less than ideal situation.
Good.
Right? Positive thinking. Now, up front, this is kind of a disclaimer. As you know, as most people know me, I would consider myself a pretty positive person.
Yeah.
So I don't have, even on bad days, I'm one of those, silver lining motherfuckers, glass half full, that kind of thing. I'm one of those, it's really not that bad type of people. I have dark days. I have humdrum out of sort days. But for the most part, man, you can't bring me down. You can't bring me down. So for the most part. So, it's the ability to focus on the goods versus the bads in the less than ideal situation. Let me see. How has it played a role in life and career? I think when you have a positive, and I'm going to call it a mindset or / attitude, it's easier to accept a challenge with zest and vigor, other than, or the reverse, having a bleak and a drab outlook or attitude. So it's allowed me to go, yeah, I'll tackle that task. Sure. Even like I said, I really attribute my success in my early days to having a real positive outlook on things. Like when I was a teenager going to the SF course, raising my hand for shit details. It showed other people that this dude's not only got work ethic, but he's volunteering for a shit detail with a good attitude.
Literal shit detail.
So massive. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? We all have those bad days, right? Humdrum days and whatnot. But here's a big difference, though. I could visit you, or you could visit me, if we're having one of our mutual humdrum days, and it wouldn't take long for the other one to pull the other one out of that.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
One thing, one little brief conversation, and you snap right out of it. It's when the person can't snap out of it because the negativity is like their default position. They don't want to be a positive thinker because they feel like you're denying reality by doing that. They feel like by being pessimistic, they're being more realistic. And I tell them, positive people, we're not unrealistic. We're realistic, but we just believe it's better to enjoy the journey than to wallow in that realism. Right. That's the difference. Yep. You know what I mean? We're fully aware that it's not like we ignore those things, but there's always that, as they say, that silver lining. And it may take Sherlock Holmes and a team of hound dogs to find that silver lining, but it's there. Look on the bright side. How do you do that? Look in the mirror. If you can't look in the mirror and say, well, there's my bright side, I'm the bright side to whatever I'm facing. That's the fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm the bright side.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are capable of that. Pessimists aren't.
No.
They look in the mirror and they see that, they want to wallow in their freaking shit. And they want others to wallow in it as well.
Yeah. Can you recall when you first understood the impact of positive thinking on your personal or professional life?
Yeah. So one, I've always talked a lot about my dad on these, because he was kind of one of those examples, a very good example of having a positive outlook on things. As I recall being very young, he was extremely busy, 2 jobs and school. Right. And not the best of relationships. I mean, my mom would just nickel and dime the shit out of him. But he was always upbeat around us, around the kids. Always. We could always rely on him to be positive, which, man, I mean, that was tremendous. Wait, can you recall when you first understood the impact? So yes, that was one. And then I remember another one. So that's personal and professional life, going back to that SF course.
Yeah.
As a teenager, dude, the freaking older guys, because I went through in 84, so I was there with Vietnam vets.
Right.
These guys didn't give a shit, pouring down rain, sitting in a freaking puddle of mud, hungry, and they were always chipper, always freaking, I mean, like, so I want to be like that.
Yeah.
You're hungry, you're tired as shit, and they can always crack a joke. Ass cheeks filled with freaking mud, shaved freaking ball sack. You're just miserable. You got freaking jungle rot in your boots, and they were always freaking upbeat. Always. I was like, damn, man, that is so freaking cool. So a lot of that comes with it, wisdom, age, and how much you have endured, how much, how much shit have you had to put up with in the past, and how have you pulled yourself out of it? But they really, man, that was, I was so fortunate to have come in at that time where I had mentors who were, combat seasoned dudes.
Right. Yeah.
So there was 2 examples right there.
How do you incorporate positive thinking into your daily routine?
So number 1, we've talked about this before, squad. You have to look forward to the day. And that starts with me the night before. I want to write one thing on my whiteboard that's going to kind of excite me about the day. Just one thing, just to look forward to it. Because when you get up, I want to think, oh yeah, I have that thing to do. And it could be a shit detail. But the thing is, that once you finish the shit detail, like weed whacking today in the freaking sun and humidity, all that shit that Debbie grew. I mean, that's a shit detail, but I was really looking forward to it. Yeah. I was like, oh, I can't wait to freaking just whack all these weeds down, man. They're so freaking big. There's so many of them. So look forward to the day. Pick that one thing out and focus on that one thing, just one. You don't need to focus on a shitload of them. And then look forward to it. Sometimes it could be a shit detail, man, because you're going to feel better after that shit detail's done.
So do you feel like that would be the key? For someone might be thinking, listen to this. How are you possibly excited about going out and weed whacking humidity the next day?
Because you know what it's going to look like when you're done. And the satisfaction afterwards. But, and I got this line from you. It's you got to do what you hate to create what you love.
Right.
And I love that because it's so freaking true. So let me create what I love. I'm going to hate it. Right. Let me do that thing.
So for you, you're not really envisioning the things that you might dread. You're envisioning the end result and how you're going to feel.
Getting it done. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Getting that shit done. Getting it taken care of.
And so at this point, that's your default setting.
Yep.
So that's not a fight for you. That's not a struggle for you. For somebody else probably who's listening to this and wants to make those kind of changes, it may be a struggle for you. And if it is, keep going.
Yeah, man. Yeah, keep going. And reward yourself after. So I like, what I do at the end of the day. I chill. I switch off at the end of the day with Rebecca. We watch TV. We have a couple glasses of wine, a couple bottles, whatever.
Whichever comes first.
And we basically just detach from reality and go into, alternative reality world and chill the hell out. But man, I want to earn that. Yeah. I want to earn it because because then it is a true reward. Right. And Rebecca and I report every day about that. We always say stuff like, yeah, man, it was good. It was productive because I did these things right here. Besides for just grinding and working and doing freaking fulfillment and selling shit. And, it's what did you do today to earn the right to put your freaking feet up and laugh your ass off at some stupid freaking TV or to sit in the shade and read a book or whatever it is. Because, this weekend, I can't wait because I'm going to do that this weekend. I want to read books, but because I'm taking off with Rebecca. We're going to do some RVing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've had a couple really, really good weeks. I've earned a couple days off where I could just fuck around. I go fishing, read books, and trip out a little bit.
Well, this we're talking about more than just the power of positive thinking. We're talking about positive thinking from the Pat Mack way of looking at things. And what you just described when you're talking about how you organize your day, how you want to earn that time to goof off, and how you define that time of being off from labor, this takes us from positive thinking into mindset.
Mindset, right.
Because in other words, you're not just gung-ho about the weed eating. It's a way of looking at every single thing. It is a world view or a mindset. A mindset is actually defined as a collection of attitudes. So it's not just an attitude, it's a collection that you have of different attitudes that apply to chores, that apply to wife, that apply to rest, that apply to health, that apply to other people, that apply to the news, that are applied to, all of these things. So like when you said a while ago, before we started this portion, you said, you got to turn off that news. You got to turn off these things that are affecting you, right?
Yep.
Well, not too many months ago, you were talking about, you'll spend this much time a day watching the news and that sort of thing. And so now that's changed, and you're like, you know what? It's getting so freaking poisonous at this point. I'm just shutting it out because it's gotten to a place where you're like, okay, according to my mindset, my collection of attitudes, when it comes to something like this, what I'm guarding in terms of myself and what's within me, that inside job that Rob Lowe was talking about, when it comes to guarding that, it's way too important. So now, this media source gets axed. I love it because there's a proverb that says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Guard your heart more than anything, because out of it flows the issues. And the word issues in the Hebrew means forces. The forces of life come from the heart. So guard it above anything else. And that's essentially what you're doing. So, because the mindset demands it, the mindset goes into effect. So what I want somebody to take from this is glean Mac's approach, because it leads to building your collection of attitudes, which will make up your mindset, and you won't suck so much.
Bingo.
All right. What strategies do you use to overcome negativity or pessimism in your environment?
Well, so what strategy you use to overcome negative or in my environment? So this is an external source. That's why I got this negativity or pessimism. This is external and source. External. This is coming from an external source because it said in your environment. Right. I think it's in one's nature. It's not a strategy. Pessimists suck, but to overcome it, right? To overcome negativity or pessimism, dude, the self-talk thing. If it's affecting me directly, or if it's within the confines of my castle here, that self-talk is huge. Shit like, it's not that bad, or it could be worse, or it'll get better. But the thing is, I do believe that, I can't recall how many times I've said that to Rebecca and vice versa, where it's like, I just don't think it's that big of an issue. It's not that big. We could fix this thing. Now, I know I had this down for two. Let me see. Is it more appropriate? No, I'm gonna wait. I have another line that I could have put there, but it's better suited for another question.
The word rebuke means to express sharp disapproval. And from my church days to now, that's how I've always handled pessimism in my environment, especially when it's coming from somebody else. Pessimism or negativity, or I come over the radio or something, it's the flu season. I'm like, not for me.
Right. Yeah.
I reject it. I reject that. It's not going to happen. Like this latest injury, this Achilles thing. And they're like, are you going to be okay? I said, no, I'm going to be fine. There's not even a question. It's just, in other words, I will not just check it, but I'll do a pile on to make sure. and then I'll come back and shoot it and drag the body away, come back, sweep it, and then come back and flamethrower it. You know what I mean? I want it to be absolutely, absolutely established and clear that I reject this.
Yeah, man. I just did that with dude, all the freaking hype. You know, the tropical storm Debbie.
Yeah.
You know, all the people. Oh, there's gonna be power outages. I'm like, okay. Oh, you better get your generator ready. Oh, right. Oh, they're gonna have trees down. I'm like, my garden's gonna get watered. I think it fuels, that kind of negativity. It fuels people, but in the wrong way.
Well, it's amazing how activated they get. Over
Yeah, I'm
negativity.
with you on the rejecting thing. I've never put it into those words though. Rebecca and I are both like that. Well, it's going to affect you. It's not going to affect me.
Yeah.
Good. I mean,
Yeah.
All right. BFD, bro.
Yeah. All right. What specific techniques do you recommend for someone trying to cultivate a more positive mindset?
So once again, pessimists suck, right?
Yeah.
People with ho-hum, drab, bleak attitudes. They're a hard freaking nut to crack, man. They're just like that by nature. So it's all of the usual suspect stuff. Get outside, go for a walk, keep yourself busy. Stagnation provides fertile ground for darkness to invade, bro. To invade. And then exercise, that whole exercise thing. It's funny how that's always the main ingredient to get over all that shit,
Yeah.
We human beings have devolved so freaking much, man. We have all these problems.
Yeah.
I have depression. I don't have a positive outlook at things. God damn, man, you suck. Processed food eating, no exercise doing, triple chin having, Dunlop disease having. Well, of course you're freaking bleak. Just look at you, bro.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in your presence.
Yeah. When's the last time you impressed yourself?
Yeah. What's that? Oh, gratitude. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Rebecca uses gratitude, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think that's an important point because
we've used that before.
Yeah.
Being grateful. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had a big, like a half an hour discussion on it a year and a half ago.
Yeah. That
was good.
I remember once a guy defined what it meant to be truly religious, and I thought it was wonderful. He said, the person who's truly religious is the person who's thankful.
Yeah, good.
You know what I mean? It's to recognize something beyond yourself,
Right.
We came into this world with nothing, but we were born into everything. It's great. Everything that I use, wear, eat, whatever, was all created and done by people who came long before me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything was supplied by someone else. Their ingenuity, their creativity. And they didn't get there because they saw themselves as victims. And that's what people do. They're like, don't be so hard, Mac. Don't be so hard on people. People are struggling. No. Not in this kind of abundance.
Right.
No, it's not. You're not struggling in this kind of abundance. No, love them like they are. Yeah, love them like they are, but love them enough to not leave them that way. Love them enough not to leave them that way. That's why I think they've got to be checked. You have to rebuke them. I'm not out here to make friends, man. I mean, it's just if you're in my airspace, you're fair game as far as I'm concerned because you felt free to spew the negativity. You know what I mean? So I'm going to hit back. You didn't know you were hitting me. That's right. I'm going to hit back, man. And if you get offended by it, I didn't mean it offensively. It's not just for me. It's to check you, bro. It's to say, hey, it is not that bad. Who are you anyway? That's what I love, that line from The Lion King where the father says to him, Simba, you're more than what you've become.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You're supposed to be a whole lot more than this, but you're dicking around with Timon and Pumbaa over there. Take your place on Pride Rock. Take your throne because nobody's going to give it to you. They'll try to take it from you. All right, what are the biggest challenges to maintaining a positive outlook, and how do you address them?
Biggest challenges, man.
In fact, the biggest challenges is your dumbass.
Well, yeah, yeah. Um, kind of how we started this, by shutting out right now the shrill, vile, bleak message that is ubiquitous. That's a challenge right now because it's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
All the negative freaking messaging, it's force fed. Even if you try to avoid it, you're going to pick up peripheral
Yeah,
conversations.
that's
You're going to
true.
read it on banners and T-shirts. You're going to see
Yeah.
it on billboards. You're going to see it on bumper stickers and signs on people's front lawns. It's
Hmm.
everywhere. It's in your face. So, and it's harder and harder to go, man.
Yeah.
It gets tough. So one of the things Rebecca and I did as well, or we do every once in a while, is when things are really good, just remember that there's always a chance that things could be bad too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Just you pre-program it. So that way when shit does hit the fan, you already understand that bad shit can freaking happen. So address it prior to it happening. And that's not a bleak or pessimist outlook.
No.
That's being realistic.
Yeah.
Just understand that, you know what? Bad shit freaking does happen and we need to be prepared for it and we need to understand that we're not living in this bed of roses can freaking
Yeah.
wilt at any second. I mean, we both have pretty strong positive outlook
Hmm.
on life in general, on life and our relationship in general. But yeah, I think you have to understand that, man, that shit can go south in a
Yeah.
freaking nano.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're like yourself, as you said, doesn't mean you don't have your bad days and whatnot. But
Right.
um, I think what you said right there is important, and I think it also demonstrates that this is the same approach you take to preparation or anything. You're saying,
Yep.
hey, it's not always going to be this way, so what do I have in place just in case? And a lot of
Mhm.
people, maintenance is just not on somebody's. Being
Right.
proactive is just, it's just, I mean, just like with, like you just described with the tropical storm Debbie, whatever the hell she is, who, came through. All of a sudden, everybody's like, you better get your generator going instead of just, they've had that ready. They were ready for Debbie 3 months ago, 3 months from now, 3 years
Yeah,
ago,
bro.
you
Come
know.
on, man. Right. Forget about it. I'm not going to the teeter the day before a storm comes to get bread and milk, man.
Mm-mm,
No, that ain't me.
mm-mm.
I was going to add something to that. Something that Rebecca and I talk about. Let me see. Address it. Prepare. Oh, the other thing is, that's self-realization.
Yeah,
So we are forthright also about mood, for example. Like, hey, I'm out of sorts today.
yeah,
For whatever reason, you have a chemical imbalance. You know what I
sure.
mean? I'm out of sorts today. I'm not in the best mood for whatever. But we usually will put it on the table up front. I think that's good,
Yeah.
practice as well. Yeah, we just we just did it the other day.
Hmm.
Rebecca just said, yeah, because like so, and that puts me for me if Rebecca's out of sorts, man, I'm just giving her freaking room.
Hmm.
I'm not coddling her and saying, "Is there anything I could do for you?" It's like, "You okay, bro? All right." And I'm just freaking gone, man. You know what I mean? That's the best thing I could do is just achieve some separation, and she'll do the same.
Yeah.
It's like, but we try to turn that frown upside down. It's like, how could we make freaking lemonade out
Hmm.
of lemons?
Right.
And it's usually, which is one of your questions here. It's usually a little bit of humor or
Yeah.
lightheartedness.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Alcohol.
yeah.
How has positive in thinking impacted your performance in high pressure situations?
So this is a line from from the book of Mac is that positivity increases confidence, and confidence and performance work hand in hand. I think it's undeniable that a positive person is typically a little more confident.
Right.
A negative person is they're not oozing confidence, but a positive person always, man, they work hand in hand, and then also so does that confidence and performance. So as far as high pressure situations, man, if you're freaking positive, you're confident.
Yeah.
They work hand in hand.
Well, that again had to have been a great experience to be in special forces communities when that's the norm
Right.
with everybody who's involved.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So very, very high
Yep.
pressure situations where performance matters, where confidence matters, but then mixed in is positive thinking, which is, like you said, the Vietnam vets that you were with when you were
Yeah, right.
18, it wasn't like it's not like they're talking about wonderful. They're chipper, like you said. They're chipper. They're making jokes. They're laughing in the midst of
That when I read that question, I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I could still remember their names too, But seeing them in these horrible, because we were all embracing the suck,
Yeah.
all the time, getting yelled at, freaking hungry, filthy, and I can remember dudes like drinking coffee out of a freaking canteen cup, and they're under a little freaking poncho hooch, just a little poncho hooch. The coffee cup there's water splashing on it from the heavy raindrops, and they got that one cigarette they're guarding with their poncho, and they're just, this is the best day of my life, man. This is so freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I can only think of one very, very short season, the demise of the marriage, where I was not in a very funny mood.
Yeah.
But that's a very, like, less than 30 days out of 58 years of life. Other than that, dude, if I'm not joking, that's when you need to check on me.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
I know that about you.
If I'm not joking, that's when you check on me. But to me, little things like that are just little ways that you celebrate life. It's those mini vacations. All right. What role does positive thinking play in maintaining your mental health?
Oh, shit. Huge. Hold on. Let me change pages here. Huge, right? Mental health.
Yeah, in your mental health.
Right. It encourages a productive attitude. So, dude, productiveness is huge, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to mental health, productiveness. Yeah. So it encourages a productive attitude. And the opposite applies as well. It'll adversely affect a productive attitude. And it will, so the opposite will adversely affect one's, mental state. But yeah, I only had that one line.
Dude,
it encourages a productive attitude.
That is such a freaking loaded line. It almost needs its own little discussion.
Subcategory.
Because, and I hope y'all caught what he just did. He really wasn't addressing mental health the way people want the subject to be addressed. He's addressing productivity, which the net effect of being productive means it's self-rewarding. It's self-verifying. It shows that you are not a loser. It shows that you are not out of the race. It shows that life did not take you out. If you can remain productive during difficult seasons, what that does to you mentally is massive. So I absolutely love that, by tying the positive thinking to productivity and result, mental health. Y'all better write that down. All right.
Avoid the stagnation.
Yeah. So how has a positive attitude impacted your relationships, both personal and professional? And I know that seems like just a common question or something very amateurish, but no, I mean, you must have seen the net effect of people who have been receptive to you in both areas because of your attitude.
Remember, these questions were meant to be for last week, so I wrote something down. And today I looked at that again, and I remembered something else I think is important. It tightens the bond, in relationships, and keeps things interesting, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing that it does, so positive attitude impacted relationships, personal and professional. It says to the other person, it translates to, you are reliable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a rock, like an oak, bro, like an oak. That's what positivity translates to. I thought I was like, so what can Rebecca see in me? What net effect will it have if I'm, positive and uplifting? Oh shit, bro. Reliability, and that's what people want in a relationship, whether it's personal or professional. Reliability.
One of the things that Lizzie told me, this is like,
Yeah, and Rebecca just said consistency as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are, it's essential, man, because and you don't realize that you're having that kind of effect on another human being because
Right.
you're just just kind of more doing it for yourself.
Yep.
But Lizzie had told me sometime this past year, she's surrounded by storms, but
Yep.
and she was talking about when she's around me, which is a weird thing to say. She said, "I just know every time I can turn to you, everything goes calm." And I mean, I'm a much more even keel person. My heartbeat never goes over 60 beats. You know what I mean? I'm the last one out of a burning house eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't, I am slow moving when it comes to stuff. I just don't trip. You know what I mean? And
Right.
but I sometimes see myself as very loud, obnoxious, that kind of thing. So I was just kind of like, really? I would not think that. And she goes, no. It's everything. It's the stability. It's the like what you were just describing. Because you are, the reliability. You're consistent yourself. You're disciplined yourself. You're always in the same attitude, that sort of thing. So when something's going awry, then if that loved one of yours, whether it could be your kid, man, if they can turn to you as a parent or again as a spouse, and you help to calm their storm, be that bridge over troubled water, dude, that's worth the investment in thinking like shit. All the time.
It's so fun, and I totally forgot about this, but it's what you just said. You calm me down. You know who just said that to me recently was neighbor Tom.
Really?
Tom he had some issues. He was coming over. He came over. He said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this thing. I almost came over the other night because, to tell you the truth, you like calm me down. You make me feel relaxed." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Right, and Mac's like full on. So it's like, wait a minute,
right.
what?
Yeah, he repeated it like 3 times. And I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, there's something about it, dude. And and that's funny because you've mentioned a couple other guys who've come to you as of late on the street, and these are hitters, man. These are pipe hitting dudes, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
that you're there, because you're gonna understand them, and vice versa. Like,
Yep.
Nobody from outside of that community can possibly understand, and just the fact that everything that you do, we can become familiar with it in the squad because we see you so often. Obviously, as your friend, I can see it so often. But I think I can see why that is the case in you. And man, I think that's awesome. I really do.
Yeah, it pleased me. I was like,
Yeah.
good. Shit.
How has positive thinking helped you rebound from setbacks or failures?
Oh shit. People here know that stuff, man. I've talked about those stories, second chances of life, rebounding, coming out of a rut, all that shit, man. It's happened so much. But think about the stories of my military career, injuries and failures of courses and this and that, and always coming back and hitting them again. And I think I hope it is anyway, just innate with most human beings. That this is a minor setback. It's not end all be all. They're giving me another chance, so why wouldn't I take it? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's positive attitude. And then think about like coming out of a bad marriage. That.
Yeah.
Hold on, is this the right question? How has positive thinking helped you rebound from setbacks or failures? Right.
Yeah.
So that was a massive one, man.
Yeah.
Remembering who I was. It's like, whoa, this isn't me. I'm not bleak.
Yeah.
I'm a badass. I'm not some freaking whiny pussy,
Right.
beta cuck motherfucker. I could dig myself out of this shit, man. And then remembering that that thing, the first time I said it was on a big podcast, is I'm not buried. I'm freaking planted, man.
Yes.
I'm going to emerge from this shit,
Mhm.
stronger.
Right.
But yeah, so it's helped me out. And as of late, the PMR,
Yeah.
Rebecca was my cheerleader during it. the whole process sucked.
She
but we
dressed
would-
like one, and that helped.
Yeah. Oh shit! I gotta write that down. Cheerleading outfit on Amazon. Want those little pom poms? You know?
That's right.
Little ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Oh man. Now I
okay.
can't get my mind off a cheerleading outfit.
There you go.
so.
All right. Now, this next question I was going to skip, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change it.
All right.
Okay. It's on role models, right? I want to change the question.
All right. Good.
Instead of just asking a general question like that, let's go back to the unit.
Yep.
All right. And let's think of guys in the unit who were role models or who stood out because of their attitude, the way that they thought, mindset, etc.
That's the only example I have.
Good. Good. Good.
I had a guy who he was a role model. Right? I'm not going to mention his name. Rebecca's going to know this immediately. But he was, when I first got there, he was my 2IC, my second in charge. Sometime later, he was my team leader. Sometime after that, he was my troop sergeant major. But he was always in a leadership position just above me, you know, and top performer. But his attitude was always just, he was the most positive mofo ever. And I can't tell you how many times I heard him say this right here. Something you should know about me. I'm never wrong. And it wasn't because he was, you know, flat dicking it or not putting himself out there. He was always in the mix, always putting himself out there. So the chance for him to be wrong was far greater than those who were, you know, in the shadows and playing second string or second fiddle. He was always leading by example. But I remember how many times he said that I heard him say that. It got to a point, it said it so many times that he would say, "Hey, Mac, you remember something about me?" And I go, "Yeah, you're never wrong." He said, "That's right." But
yes.
Never wrong.
But in a community like that, where most people, well, here's the thing: is in a community like that,
the thing is, he would say it. You know, he would say it. But the thing is, it was without hubris. Yeah. You know, it was meant to be funny, but he knew it also.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this guy did not have a grandiose ego. He was always funny, always cracking jokes, but top performer.
Yeah.
In everything.
Yep,
you know, from all the basic skills to top level leadership. I loved it.
Different human beings, man.
Yep.
Different human beings. And that's the thing, you know, sometimes probably more so for me than for you, because I've always kind of been by myself with this kind of outlook.
Yep.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
So being around you then, and then meeting other guys like you, you know, from that background, etc. It just, and then learning the things I've learned from you about everything from situational awareness, all the sentinels, everything, right? Everything. Yep. With all of that combined, it's amazing how much more I see the lack out there than I did before. You know, I just saw bad attitudes before. Now I see, holy crap, these are disasters in the making.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or these are people that are draining on the system. They are. So I just see them with different glasses now because of being around you this long. And I don't want to be judgmental. You know, I don't want to be that. But at the same time, I have to recognize it. And it's
got
important.
to, bro. because when you're not too judgmental to a fault, which Rebecca and I will do that for fun.
Right.
You know, and we know it. But to be judgmental enough to be guarded a little bit, you know, so you're not susceptible to the freaking, to the thumb people douchebaggery.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to have compassion. It lasts, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds, but I try.
Yep.
I try. Because it just seems to me to be so damn willful for no apparent reason, nothing justifiable. In fact, if anything, it's a willful thing that they take upon themselves like clothing. You know what I mean? They wear it. And it's almost like a badge of pride. I mean, we're seeing that in the current victim culture is
Yep.
so pronounced. People do that for the dumbest shit.
And you know what you just got to say? You got to say exempt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stay out of this.
Yeah.
You recommend any books or resources that have helped you at all shape your thoughts on positivity?
I don't need it. Right. I don't need it. But there's I wrote down a book here on positivity. Is the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool book, but I really don't need it. I don't need to read books or, on how to be positive because it's just innate. It's who I am. Yeah.
So you recommend your books?
Yeah, my books. Yeah.
My
Right.
books. All right. How do you respond to the criticism that positive thinking is just ignoring reality? Of course, we addressed this earlier.
So it's rare that I've ever heard it, but I thought about it today, and I remember one person who would say, "You are ignoring reality." Those words in particular. Wow. That was my ex. So you have to consider the source because she was extremely pessimistic. She sucked in every shape, fashion, or form. So if you have somebody who questions your positivity as ignoring reality, then man, you got to consider the freaking source because that person sucks. Yeah. That's that mirror psychology bullshit, Right. People who suck, they want you to suck too. Because they know it. They know that they do. I think deep down they know that they do.
Yeah.
If they were under hypnosis or some shit, they'd probably say, "Yeah, I suck. I'm a horrible person. I want everybody else to suck too, because then I'm gonna feel better. I'm gonna gloat."
Yeah, wasn't that what did I send you? Was it yesterday? The quote by the guy talking about this, something very much like this. I'll have it here in momentarily. Okay. Pathetic, empty, and unproductive people don't care about losing their freedom because they weren't doing anything meaningful with it anyways. Many of these same people rejoice at the loss of freedom for others because it makes them feel better about their miserable existence.
I have said that so many times, but not as eloquent. And probably fewer words,
Yeah.
Yep.
Just told him to
but yeah, I screenshotted that one. I showed it to Rebecca and screenshotted it. I was like, "Yep, this guy freaking nailed it. Nailed it."
All right. Have you noticed an impact of positive thinking on your physical health?
Hell yeah, fuels the fire. That's all I wrote. Hell yeah, fuels the fire.
Can you share your morning routine that helps set a positive tone for the day?
Setting a positive tone for the day. Rebecca got me. We know this, like the earthing thing, first thing in the morning. Right, earthing, grounding. So she got me into that like 2 years ago. But enjoying the morning, man. Nothing makes me happier than like if I could bring Rebecca coffee in bed, right?
Sure.
I love doing that, man. It just makes me happy, walking the dogs, because here's the thing. So positive tone for the day. So try to live life like a dog. So, when I walk the dogs and I'm opening up the front door, it's always their first time.
Oh, for sure.
Always. It's always their first time. So take a lesson from a dog.
Yeah.
Bro, they are just so freaking ecstatic to start the day. It's like, this is perfect, man. And when they go out, they run outside and then they both look around at everything, sights and sounds. They pick it all up. They're picking up all the information. Gretchen, she's blind and deaf almost, but she's still doing the same thing, but her nose, she's picking up all the new senses, all the new smells. And Grace is checking everything out. It's always her first time. So that sets the stage for me for the day, doing all that stuff. Looking at my garden.
Yeah.
Walking in the grass, smelling the earth.
Not looking at your phone.
Bro, too many people start that, right? Start their day with that. I mean, it's like for us, Rebecca's usually better at it than I am, but it's an hour and a half or so before we get on the brain slug.
That's right.
It's a minute.
All right.
But for me, it's business. I got to get on there and check a couple things. All right.
Do you use visualization as part of maintaining a positive mindset? And if so, how?
I use visualization for nearly everything, and that in itself encourages a positive mindset.
Cheerleading outfits.
Yep, cheerleading outfits. Visualization. Dude, you should see that visualization. Wow. No, please don't. Yeah.
No.
Sorry, Rebecca. Damn it. Yep.
We're being productive.
Yep.
All right. So how do you deal with moments of doubt or insecurity? Insecurity.
Right. Yeah, right. Insecurity. But I thought about this. I mean, I don't have I don't have insecurity, but every once in a while I have some doubt,
But it's
So I
not
think
so
the
much.
biggest-
But it's not a doubt in yourself, though. It's a doubt
No.
in how something might work out, or
Right. It's this kind of thing,
Right.
It's like, I should probably think about this a little bit.
yeah.
So undue haste makes waste, right? So take my time initially and process and come up with a course of action and revise it and then act on it.
Right.
But I don't have a lot of those, but that was the first thing that came to mind. And that's how I write these down. First thing that comes to mind, boom.
Could you share a personal story where positive thinking made a significant difference? Is there a time when that mindset was more critical than others?
Yep. And we've talked about a bunch of these on the squad. So I go to like teenage years, and winning my first wrestling match, dude, the positive mindset, I want more of this. I like the way this feels. Winning.
Yes.
Winning, bro.
Yes.
It's my first time ever winning, or the All Army Small Arms Championship, it took first place out of 250 people. That was all just positive attitude. I wasn't really under any pressure either. The competition was tough, but I wasn't really under any pressure. It wasn't like do or die. It's like, well, what's going to happen if I don't do well? But when you compete in something like that, you've got to have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
No negativity can't sneak in at all, because how we, the mind navigates the body. In other words, how we think determines how we perform. And then 2013, my best year and my worst year. My worst year followed by my best year.
Yeah.
Positive freaking attitude, remembering who I was.
Yep.
And that reignited my flame, man. It just, it set me through the freaking roof, with energy, ideas, passion, all of that stuff. My attitude, I had a massive attitude adjustment. So yeah, positive thinking, man. God damn. And you can't fake positive thinking. It has to be real. Yeah. And it when it's
there. Absolutely.
What
role does humor play in maintaining a positive mindset?
They go hand in hand, right?
I agree.
So it lightens the load. It reminds one to be less serious all the time, and it could change the trajectory of an attitude.
100%.
Not only your own, but somebody else's.
Yep. 100% agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I like what it lightens the load. It does,
yeah, right?
Man.
It really does. Yeah. Yep. To have wit, I don't have like I love people like you have wit, and I know every time I meet somebody who has wit, I go, you know what? You got wit, bro. And they say, so do you. I said, no. I could be comical and funny, but I don't have that level of wit.
Yeah.
I love it,
Yeah, humor almost...
the brain never turns off from humor. It's always, it's right there at the forefront. It's right there.
Yeah,
So and I know I've met about a half dozen people who have that. I'm like, oh God. Oh, if there's one thing I want is your wit.
Yeah. Humor is like a poor man's positive attitude, because you can go see people who are, you know what I mean? In lower class, just sitting on the street in downtown or something, you know what I mean? They're sitting outside the barbershop or whatever. They got nothing to do. You know what I mean? And they struggle to make ends meet, but they're laughing.
Yep.
They're always laughing.
Right.
They're always joking with
Yep.
each other, man. You know what I mean? Because it's hard for them to be positive ultimately about all of their situation. You know, they realize they feel like they're stuck. They're not, but they feel like they're stuck. But yeah, it's a poor man's positive attitude is humor, man. So use it.
It's great.
All right. What are the long-term benefits of consistently practicing positive thinking?
I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. A successful, happy, and healthy life.
Perfect.
Long-term benefits for consistently practicing positive thinking. A successful, happy, and healthy life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
If that's what you want, you know, if you really, and that's what I hope when people, we got one more question here, but that's what I hope people get.
Well, we have one more question, then I have a rant. I wrote down like 2 paragraphs of shit.
Well, then let's get to that. All right. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave in terms of promoting positive thinking?
Dude, that's it, right? That's what it's all about. That's the crux of the biscuit right there.
Yep.
I mean, it's like I don't need to answer that question. The question says it right there. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave in terms of promoting positive thinking? Yep. I want to leave that legacy. So that's the crux of the biscuit. To leave that legacy, to spread positively, to influence the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take that. It's not that hard.
No.
It really isn't. It ain't that hard.
No.
Because it's contagious. You know, it spreads.
Feels good.
Yep.
Make it habitual.
Yep. Make it habitual. So I had a note here. Let me see. It's a little bit of a rant, but we kind of started it like this. And so positivity is driving people freaking batshit right now because it's like tumultuous, the shit you see on the news and everything, right? So politics are driving people nuts. Yes, there's a change. There's a chance that the same people who say that men could have babies and to teach little kids how to be racist and to preach collective guilt and want to dismantle our republic, or they condone child sex trafficking. There's a chance that those people can be they could be in power in freaking next January, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but I still have my guard at the end of the day, I still got my guard. Because I get asked that a lot. Is it going to? Because it's literally driving folks fucking crazy. Let me see. What did I write down here? We have a say in how we think. We are the architects of our own attitude, right? And raise your attitude, raise your altitude, and we could lay the groundwork to think more positively. If we think about the things that negatively affect our attitude, right? So that was part of that. I was just writing shit. It was just on the forefront of my brain. We are driving the train. So politics driving you crazy? Stop watching the news and shut off freaking social media. You're in financial strife? Save money and pay your fucking debts. You feel like shit? Go on a diet and exercise. You have your marriage is in turmoil? Get out of it or fix it. So there's so many things that we can avoid or that we could fix, and a lot of them are external sources. I mean, man, the amount of I know people personally who you could see it in them. You could see that it's draining. That it's robbing them of a positive mental attitude because they're trapped in this world of just it's everywhere, man. It's freaking negativity, and the media, politics, they're all perpetuating it, man.
Oh, yeah.
They want us to be scared, angry, stupid. So that's the big one right there. I think that's the poison that fuels the flames of negativity.
I agree. Yeah, it's business now at this point. It's how institutions make money and maintain power. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly sad, especially to see it in the country that stands for all of these things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just
and I think about that. They want to dismember our republic. The American flag is a sign of oppression. Kids should be taught how to be racists and freaking sexual deviants at a young age. And I'm like, well, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I'll do my part to try to combat that and make the world a better place, but I'm not going to let it drive me batshit freaking crazy. And at the end of the day, I'm still going to be in my garden with Rebecca.
Mhm.
We're going to be planting shit. We're going to be doing our homesteading thing. It's really not going to affect me that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to make as much money. I'm going to have to pay freaking taxes to shit that has nothing to do with any of this.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's good. That's good, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Because
It's
you know what? Back to what Rebecca said. Gratitude, man. I am
Mhm.
very thankful. I look at the toilet all the time in a different way now. I think it was
Mm.
Rebecca who first said that to me, or
Mhm.
somebody. I can't remember who it was, but dude, we're first. We have we freaking we shit and piss and freaking purified water that is housed in a polished porcelain bowl.
Yeah. Mhm. It's true, man.
Uh,
Absolutely true. Well, that's the
Thanks, Mike Thompson.
power of positive thinking channeled to us from the metal gods through one Patrick Heavy Metal McNamara. So, well, I guess that's the one thing we could add is listen to heavy metal, because
Dude,
I
man.
don't know any other form of music that embodies positivity and the conquering mindset like heavy metal. There is nothing else. Not even rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Man,
Not even
you sound
rock
like
and
I've
roll.
been motivated. No, not even rock and roll.
Some people don't get it,
No. It got me through the darkest of times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got you through selection.
Yep.
All of these things.
Got
So
me through PMR.
yeah. So
Yep.
keep it all in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Positive thinking via the Mac approach to life, and I think there's some really, really good nuggets here. I might jump the gun and put this one out first because I just think it's needed right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'll do that. But that's it.